Yeah, man, championship week. A lot of stuff happened throughout championship week. I mean,
including the coronation of the back-to-back
yeah, two-time
Big Ten champions.
Big Ten champions.
Two-time.
Who did that?
Well, it was Booker T.
Oh, but
Five time.
Okay.
5 time. Well, hey, we can get there now. If y'all made me do, hey, look, Michigan get 5 of them, I'm gonna do the spin-a-rooney on the podcast. Can you dig it, sucker? They're going to beat TCU because they're a better team than TCU. And then when it's time to go get them dogs and get our get back from last year, they're going to rise to the occasion. They've proved it at every stop this season, and I have no more reason to doubt them. So we bringing that natty home. Oh, the national championship, y'all don't even have to worry about, Michigan fell on their face. Not this team.
As it pertains to my feelings about Ohio State, I'm just going 0 dark 30. I'm not going to be in anybody's face or say any kind of trash talk.
Hey, man.
We'll just see what happens.
Let me tell you something about your fan base. It was so quiet in this city last week that y'all probably could have heard me yelling in my house from campus. You could hear a pin drop throughout the entire city, all of Columbus.
Yeah.
But man, Friday night, it was like the earth shook here.
Yeah.
It was, what the hell?
Yeah.
We hit the Richter.
Yeah.
Hit the Richter scale. The jubilation. And not only the happiness, because I guess you should be happy at the prospect of sliding your way into the playoffs sitting at home. But what really took me over the edge was the shit talking. Was the, we got y'all now. We got y'all now. Hey, it's get back time. Huh? Get what back from who? From who? No, be happy y'all made the playoffs. Leave us where we at. We already played y'all. We came to y'all house. We showed up. I don't know where y'all was at, but we came. So leave us out of it. If by some stroke of fate you end up in the national championship, it will be the most viewed college football game of all time.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And it'll be 2 Big Ten teams. So, hey, I have no problem with that. Especially given that we've already played that game. So you want to do it again in LA? Cool. I hope Bron shows up with the new pair of cleats that they actually wear this time.
That's funny. I understand why. Well, actually, I was one of them who was extremely happy at USC losing because they gave us the shot in the playoffs. Super surprised that not only did USC lose, but they lost worse than we did against Michigan. I can't say that I expected that at all.
Listen, USC fans. Even Caleb Williams. Let me say something to you. Let me appeal to you for a second. Lincoln Riley lied to you. Just like he lied to Jalen Hurts, just like he lied to Kyler Murray, just like he lied to Baker Mayfield. He lied to you. He convinced you that y'all were going to be, you and him, the 5-star quarterback and the quarterback guru of all of college football. He convinced you that y'all were going to be so great on offense. You are going to be so good. You're already good, kid. But with me, you're going to be so good, you don't even have to worry about what's happening over there on the other side of the ball. Oh, man, it feels easy at practice. That's just because you're so good. I never throw an interception at practice. That's because you're so good, kid. That's what it is. Me and you together, we're an ace duo. We'll never fail. And the minute they play a team with the pulse on the other side of the football, they fall apart.
I feel like that works as Big 12 football. And even to some extent,
Pac-12 football, it's all the same out there.
Yeah.
Anything west of the Mississippi is air raid and defense is optional.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is, man. Well, hey, respects out to Utah because Utah got a defense. Kyle Whittingham don't play that.
That is a fact.
Utah has a defense. Anybody else outside of that? Now, traditionally, USC has had some good defenses. You think of Junior Seau, you think of Brian Cushing, Keith Rivers.
Yeah.
Lot of great linebackers that came out of SC. But boy, them days is well behind us.
Yeah.
So he told you a tale, just like he told all the other quarterbacks a tale, that we was just gonna be so good on offense, it's not gonna matter. He is never committed to doing something drastically different on defense ever. It's not even in his purview.
Yeah.
Because if it was, there's no way in hell Alex Grinch would have followed him from Oklahoma to SC. Alex Grinch? What? What? 50 points to Georgia, Alex Grinch? If you're serious about winning championships and not just sending quarterbacks to the first round, I don't think there's a clear answer. I don't think there's a clear answer on what needs to be done. It's laughable at this point. It is literally a running joke. Lincoln Riley is going to come with the nation's best offense and a junior peewee team on defense.
Yeah.
Got the athletes. I mean, they had a 6'6" linebacker out there playing. It looked like a pterodactyl.
I was gonna say he was the defense. The defense.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
It doesn't look any different. I see the stars next to those guys' names. Maybe the guy coordinating the defense just isn't cut for that job. Maybe. That's all I'm saying. Caleb Williams. I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry. And that offensive line got exposed a little bit in that game too against Utah.
You know what? On the opposite side of the ball, Utah's defense, honestly, the Buckeyes could learn some toughness from that team.
Like they took some shots.
Golly,
they took some shots for sure because Caleb Williams is one of the best quarterbacks in the country.
Yeah.
But they were able to rally, and when they slowed him down enough to keep him in the pocket, they were able to take things away from him. Yeah, they was able to take stuff away from him. They controlled the rush. They were able to sack him. They were able to play well on the back end. They just didn't let him do the things that he wants to do.
USC
they enforced their will on him
once he couldn't go mobile anymore.
Yeah, they changed the game. So a team like that, a team like Utah, even though they had some losses that I really like cringe over because we probably would have been talking about Utah in the playoff.
Yeah.
But even in spite of some of those losses I don't think they should have picked up, they have been an amazingly consistent team. And they're balanced. They play well on both sides of the ball. There's really no phase of the game to exploit from them. Okay, make them throw. Cam Rising made some great throws in that game. Made some very timely throws to keep them ahead. And then, of course, running the football. Like, you can't take that element away from him. I hate when we say, oh, well, he's just a runner, or he's a better athlete than he is a passer. That is an equalizer. If you are an immobile quarterback in today's game, you are at a deficit.
Yes.
And your offense is at a deficit.
Yep. Cam Rising got smacked.
Yes, he did. But that wasn't targeting, though. He's a runner at that point. If he'd hit a running back like that, wouldn't have been no targeting.
Yeah.
That was not targeting.
He got smacked.
But yeah. No, that was crazy. Yeah. Did you hear the thing about Caleb Williams painting his fingernails? Fuck Utah. Fam.
A little much.
Yeah, okay. See, a lesser person would say that you got some football karma in this game. You know what I'm saying? Respect your opponent. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Especially
when it already beat you. That respect should already be there.
Yeah. No, for sure.
He obviously plays ball with a lot of emotion, so don't take that away from him. But still, you can at least respect the other team on the other side of the field. I know you respect him now.
Oh, for sure.
I know you respect him now.
But he did, give all that he could in this game.
Sure. So no. He definitely respected the game for sure.
Yeah. But he should not have done
respect your opponent.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Kyle Whittingham and the Utes went on to obviously beat USC.
Going to the Rose
Mm-hmm.
for the second year in a row. Congrats.
As they should. They're probably going to play Penn State, I guess.
Why wouldn't it be Purdue?
Oh, yeah. Because
I guess whoever gets invited, it could be Penn State or Purdue.
Because Penn State beat Purdue.
That's actually on right now.
Oh, yeah, the rest of it's on.
Yeah, let's see.
I forgot all about that.
We're going to do live reactions to the bowl games.
Live reaction is nuts. And so then after that, the first game that I saw was TCU versus Kansas State.
Which was another really good game. I was trying to watch that game while I was on the stream with Chill, 33 Burning Questions. So like I had the shout out to Chillmonger. I had the TCU Kansas State game up on
That's a crazy
on the
game
ESPN
to have
app.
while you're doing a live stream.
And I'm doing the live, and then all of a sudden it died on me. My phone died. I was like, oh, fuck, trying to get it back on. But no, that was a great stream on Saturday. Y'all should go check it out if you didn't attend. Go watch the replay. So it was who else played after Kansas? Well, let's talk about Kansas State TCU. So I thought coming into that game for sure that TCU had earned the right to stay even if they lost.
I agree.
I felt like they earned the right to stay. I don't know if that determined 3 or 4, but they at least earned the right to be there. They finished their regular season undefeated. They're playing in a championship game, lost in overtime on a field goal.
I think a close game like that keeps you at 3.
Yeah.
But a blowout would have
made it a little crazy.
Yeah.
Now, what I do have to ask Sonny Dykes, your quarterback is not a small guy. You know, you need a yard. The most effective play in football is a quarterback sneak. You don't think maybe just one time we should do something like that? Like just one? Like just one. It's 4 downs. We can do that. We can do it one time, right? I'm just saying.
Heisman candidate at that. So like probably would have been a smart move.
Yeah. Interesting. That is an interesting thing, right? Who is leading the Heisman race?
I have
at this
no
moment?
idea. No clue.
So if no one's leading it, because it was Caleb Williams and then it was Max Duggan, which both had okay games. Caleb Williams had a couple turnovers. Max Duggan obviously lost. He didn't do enough. If there's no clear leader right now, look at the Cheez-It Bowl. LSU versus Purdue. Damn it.
Cheez-It Bowl.
Damn it.
Purdue. There you go.
Yeah, okay, so then it'll probably be Penn State, like you said. It goes to the Rose Bowl?
I think only because Penn State beat
That
Purdue,
is a
Which they
pity
shouldn't have.
Rose Bowl, Penn State.
which they should not have.
Shame.
And they also only
Shame.
have 2 losses.
Shame. Didn't even play in the championship game. Anyways. Okay, so if there's no clear leader, then we're probably going off of who dominated the most in the regular season, right? Or who at least won the regular season. You got to look at the 12 games and say, okay, well then, if nobody's clearly separated in championship weekend, we just got to look at the body of work altogether.
Yeah.
I think Blake should at least get invited.
Oh, I do too.
I think he should at least get invited. I think he should be one of the finalists. Because if not for him going down against Illinois, with how the rest of this shit played out, we probably is a runaway favorite.
Mm-hmm. And I was going to say, like, I would say he should at least be invited for sure, because probably between him and Bijan, probably the best running back in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do think not playing in the half of the game of Illinois and not playing in Ohio State hurts him.
And the championship week.
And the championship.
It's like you want to kind of invoke Hendon Hooker, right? But then Hendon Hooker went down like 4 weeks ago. They had to finish their season without him. We had to get up through one game. We had to get through one game. So, I mean, I think he's there. I just don't know. Like you said, he's been out the last 3 weeks, 2.5.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to imagine him getting over the hump and winning it. Mm-hmm. But definitely, going into week 12, he was the Heisman frontrunner.
Yeah.
It was him, C.J. Stroud, Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I don't know. Because everybody's lost now at this point. Well, besides Blake Corum, but he got injured.
That's going to be a very interesting Heisman vote. If I had to guess right now, I'd say Williams, just because he's had the most Heisman-esque moments. But nobody really has the storyline that like would say, "Oh yeah, no, that's him."
Yeah.
Nobody has the storyline right now.
I would agree. And Max Duggan and Caleb Williams had the chance to make it definitive in their championship wins, and neither won.
Yeah, Max Duggan was 18 to 36. So it's like, you know, you want to kind of feel for him because it was a really close game and he had some big plays, but it's like, that wasn't really it. And then Caleb Williams, he threw for 350 yards. But he threw a couple picks and was on one leg the entire second half of that game, and they end up getting routed. So it's like, that's not the moment that you want to hand a guy a Heisman Trophy off of, is it?
C.J. Stroud had a good game against Michigan, but he lost.
Lost and threw 2 picks. So it's like, every time you want to give it to, even Blake, if you say Blake Corum, well, I mean, he did look like a Heisman player most of the season, but he didn't play the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't know who they're going to give it to. I don't know who they're going to give it to.
I have no idea. I didn't even watch the ACC.
I mean, we can mention it.
Oh, because
really quickly.
Because the ACC happened at the same time as Michigan, didn't it?
No, it was earlier than that. That game was over by the time we, I think at least. I don't know.
Then the ACC one was at the same time as one of the games.
I don't know.
I watched Georgia and LSU.
Probably at the same time as Georgia LSU. It was a nothing burger. They could have played it on Thursday. Nobody cares.
Well, if it was on Thursday, I probably would have watched it.
Nothing burger, but guess, oh my God, bro. Dabo Swinney is the he is so unashamed of himself.
Yeah.
Like people think that's endearing, the fact that he'll pull the quarterbacks like that. Mm-hmm. But it's like, it's just a cop out, man. It really is. Cade Klubnik, regardless of what you thought about him, he should be starting over DJ or he played well in the game or whatever. Mm-hmm. He did not show within the season that he was a better quarterback than DJ.
Yeah.
Every time they replaced him, the offense either stayed stagnant and they lost, i.e. Notre Dame, or they barely squeaked by because the running game was able to overcome the talent on the other side, i.e. NC State. But I'm not going to sit up here and act like, every time DJ messing up, they put in Cade Klubnik in, and boy, the offense gets better.
Because that doesn't happen.
That's not what it is. But every time the offense looks crappy, Dabo pulls his starter, their guy, and puts in Klubnik because, I guess DJ ain't got it. Your offense sucks. It sucks. I would transfer if I was DJ. Yeah. I would transfer because I'm not going to keep being the excuse for our ineptitude. Yeah. I'm the only reason why we won most of our games. We won 10 games. We wouldn't have won 9 without me.
And not trusting your quarterback is probably the worst thing you could do for your quarterback. And it lowers confidence. It starts insecurities. Like, it's a stupid thing to do.
I would not play for that guy. Yeah.
It's a toxic relationship to be in
because it's unfair, right? You're telling everybody, I'm the guy. I just didn't have it. But you're showing the nation that I'm the problem. Yeah. At least that's what you're signaling. Yeah. It's not anything internally that we need to change. The offense doesn't look any different when Klubnik's in there.
You just don't have trust. Well, it's not even that. It's just he's arrogant and doesn't want to be the guy to take the fall for it.
And then the team that they're playing couldn't stop. Oh my God, Mac Brown! When did you become so bad on defense? When did that become a thing? Has that always been a thing? Were they bad on defense at Texas?
No,
I didn't think they were.
No,
I'm confused because his defense has been absolutely putrid since he's been at North Carolina. Yeah, I don't know if it's a recruiting thing or what.
Could be.
All right, let's get off that nothing burger of a championship
I was going to say, I didn't even see the ACC championship game, but again, I think there was another game that was on that I was watching.
Yeah, let's talk about the second best conference in football.
The SEC? Mm-hmm. So, Georgia beat LSU 50-30, which, I mean, you beat them by 20, but Georgia giving up 30 to LSU.
30 to LSU? Yeah, that's a little nuts.
That sounds crazy.
Fam. Carter, 88 for Georgia. Scooped up Jaden Davis like he was a little bitty baby. And gave a yeah with him still in his arm. Y'all, Jaden Daniels is 6'4", 210, 215 pounds. He had that man in his arm, in one arm like a little baby, and giving the number one sign in the other arm.
That is hilarious.
Dog, I have never seen anything like that in football.
That is hilarious.
But yeah, no. I expected them to beat LSU. I didn't expect them to give up that many points.
Yeah.
So that that's a little concerning. I haven't watched Georgia enough to see where their weaknesses are this year. I know that they have struggled against teams that you don't expect them to.
Yeah.
Right? They get up to play the great teams. They beat Tennessee,
Oregon, and
Ole
Tennessee.
Miss, Oregon.
Oh, and Ole Miss.
Yeah, so they've gotten up to play those teams. But then games against Kentucky, games against Kent State, games against Missouri, 30 points to LSU in a championship game. It's,
being down to Missouri until late in the fourth.
So I can't tell you exactly what it is or why it's happening because I haven't watched them enough. But I think there's enough evidence to say that there is a chink in the arm in there. Mm-hmm. They obviously will have to raise their level of play on that side of the ball for their up and coming playoff matchup. But again, that's something that they've proven that they are able to do. It just concerns me that they have to turn it on. You looking at the number one team in the country, you would think that they'd always be on. And that's that little bit of, allowance that the SEC is able to get with their top rated team. So, it is what it is. We'll accept it. But it just seems as though they have a propensity to play down to their competition.
Not that Ohio State will be perfect by any means, but if a team is giving up 30 to LSU, I at least feel a little more confident going into that game. In fact, I kind of wanted Georgia over Michigan, but we know why. No need to go ahead.
You getting what you asked for.
No, I mean, just because we've seen what the problem was against Michigan. If anything, I would want to see Michigan in the national championship as well because there's that. But, between the two, I think I'd rather go against Georgia.
I mean, here's my thing. This is the first time we got two big teams in the in the Final Four. So, right to that, we don't have to just talk about the SEC when we talk about having two teams. We can legitimize it and say that, we got two. But here's where I'm still a little bit bitter about it because I know with 100% certainty, and I've never spent a single second inside of a college football committee room, but I know with 100% certainty that if Michigan at home in the Big House lost by 22 points, Michigan wouldn't be ranked within the top 7. We would have fallen out of contention so fast that regardless of what type of mayhem happened in championship weekend, we would have had no path of getting back into the playoff. So, yeah, it definitely makes me feel the type of way that they fought so hard to have y'all right there. But at the same time, y'all 11-1, and everything beyond that looks like trash. Everybody has 2-3 losses. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of hard to overlook you and say, yeah, well, we've seen how your season ended. But at the same time, your record says you're better than the field.
Yeah. I don't think you're wrong in any statement that you just made. I do believe that they would have overlooked Michigan.
Absolutely.
Just for the simple fact of them being Michigan. And we said this before. We said this going into it that, like, if Michigan were to lose, there's probably no chance that they get in the playoffs.
No.
And if Ohio State wins if Ohio State loses, that's the way that we get two Big Ten teams.
You want me
to
explain how bass-ackwards that is? For you to make the argument that Ohio State deserves to be in at 4, you'd have to say, well, their only loss is to a top 2 Michigan team. It's one of the best losses in college football. So Michigan is that good that you can lose to them by 22 at home and still get into the playoff. But simultaneously, if that same Michigan team would have lost to you, they'd have no path forward to get in.
Well, I think, okay, so what they have said is that they lost to a top 2 team, and then the thing that helped them is winning against Penn State on the road.
And
a number 8 Penn State.
They're still hyping up
and then
that damn Notre Dame win. But even if I give you the Penn State win, that was a comeback win.
Sure.
We're down multiple scores in the fourth quarter. That was not the case when Michigan played Penn State. So it's like it's this sliding scale of circumstances that only apply to certain teams, but not the other. It's not consistent in any way, shape, or form. It's completely arbitrary, and we just kind of allow them to choose the things that they want to judge on and hope that they stay consistent with it. It is the most arbitrary picking process I think we've ever had in terms of determining our national champion.
So to play devil's advocate, because again, I do think you're right in your arguments. Michigan didn't play anybody in the non-conference, and they played Penn State at home. But that's just, like I said, that's just me playing devil's advocate.
So
I guess in that case,
okay, I think I seen both of our strength of schedules leading up into this, right? So our strength of schedule was something like 73rd, and I think yours was 54th.
Mm-hmm.
If we're talking about outside the top 50 in strength of schedule, is that really a differentiator? Is it really? Does that mean more than head-to-head performance on the field? Does that mean more than even a transitive property at that point? How did you both play the same team?
I would
their
say that
strength of schedule when they're both outside the top 50?
I would go into it and say, yet and still, if you wanted to make more arguments, Ohio State struggled against Northwestern. So, like,
sure,
there's an argument for you guys. And the times that you guys have struggled have been against still fairly good teams like Maryland and Illinois. So like there's still more arguments.
I just feel like
you're right.
Regardless of what explanation they give forth as to why they did it, it still tracks back to some level of subjectivity. Mm-hmm. There is no concrete, uniformed way of judging all the teams. Yeah. It ebbs and flows based on how they choose to view it in any given week. Mm-hmm. That's inconsistent. And I feel like going into this new expansion with the 12 teams, that's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. Now it's going to matter less because that first round of playoff games is probably going to be a slaughter. It's going to be a bunch of blowout games. And, I guess instead of seeing teams get blown out in bowl games, we'll see teams get blown out in early playoff games. Mm-hmm. If that's what everybody wants, then I guess that's what we're going with. It's not going to make the back half of college football any more meaningful than it is at this point in the season now anyways. It's not going to make it any more meaningful because once they realize that the 12 seed against the 5 seed is a skull dragging, mm-hmm. No, who's going to be excited to play that? Ohio State versus Tulane? That's what it would have been this weekend.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? That's adding competitive balance to football. Ohio State versus Tulane in the opening round of the playoff. Mm-hmm. Now, no, it's football. Any given Saturday, all of that good stuff.
Yeah.
But come on, man. Come on, man. I think 8 would have been a better number.
Boom.
Okay, Utah, Penn State in the Rose Bowl. Hey,
I'll watch it.
You got a chance, James. You could send the season out on a high note. You only lost to 2 playoff teams. And, you can go home with a Rose Bowl win.
Utah is tough.
No, I think Utah's going to win that game. But I'm saying James Franklin has a chance to, go out on a high note, take some momentum in the next season.
Utah's tough. They play, like you said earlier this season, they essentially play Big Ten football.
Yeah.
And they are one of the toughest teams I think I've seen on the field, man. Like, I don't know. It's going to be a tough game for them.
Gotcha. All right, last game.
Michigan went on to beat Purdue in the Big Ten championship to win back-to-back Big Ten championships. Mm-hmm. Obviously, that's a good feeling for you guys. Literally coming off of probably your worst season ever to then come back and win back-to-back Big Ten championships is a feat.
Facts. Yeah, we don't talk about COVID year. We buried that out in the backyard.
Well, I mean, sure, but
dead and gone.
You went from that to
yeah. I mean, no, you're right. You're right because I mean, I don't think I envisioned it happening like this, like in the type of dominating fashion that they've had it in. I think we're up there with Georgia on the highest win streak in the country in the last 2 years. We were like 20, 22, 23, and 2.
Mm-hmm.
So and one of those losses was to the eventual national champion. So I feel really good about where the program is right now. The game was awesome. It happened almost exactly the way that I thought it was going to happen. Right, we got a little bit of fight from Purdue in the first half. I think they gave us their best swing, and when we went into the locker room, it was 14-13. We were up. So it's just thinking, we're a third quarter team at that point. We're going to find a way to make the adjustments. They were getting a lot of quick stuff off on us. A lot of quick stuff, a lot of underneath stuff. And what I've come to realize about Mentor is that he'll stay in his base for a long time. He's going to stay in his base defense for a while. He doesn't adjust in game. He'll wait for halftime. Because I think he understands that, like, even if you're giving some things up, your defense is good enough to make plays to keep it under control. As long as you're not giving up long plays, big gashes, big plays, right? If they're nickel and diamond, they're picking up 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7 consistently, and they're going to go up and down the field and do that, well, that's how they're going to have to beat you anyways.
Mm-hmm.
If they can't, if they do it one drive and then they get a 3 and out, and then they do it another drive, but then you stop them for a field goal, and then the next one you may get a turnover. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how he's playing it. So now when I get in the second half, I can sit down and I can actually look at the formations. I can see where you're going with the ball. I can see what you're doing, and I'm going to take that stuff away. You get nothing.
That's all fair. What if a team is good enough to give you both sides and completely change his course in the second half and change his game plan?
I haven't seen that team in college football this year. Even Georgia, who's amazingly balanced, I don't think they are going to lean either way too heavy. Mm-hmm. Right? They're not going to drive back and throw the ball 50 times with Stetson Bennett. Sure. I think they'll do it if they have to, but that's not the game plan. Mm-hmm. Nor are they going to sit back there and play 3 yards in a cloud of dust if it's not working. So I don't see that college. I mean, other than us, we're the only team that's been asked to play completely different in halves of football so far this year, where you got to come out and throw the ball against bump and run man coverage on the outside, 0 coverage a lot of time in the first half, and then second half we're going to run into the stack box on our way to 250 yards.
I guess my only thing is, because you're right, in the second half, Michigan seems to come alive, and especially in some of the big games. So I guess if a team comes out and hits you in the mouth in the start of the second half, like what is that?
My best advice to anybody playing Michigan is to get a lead and get a lead now, and they haven't given that up this year. Mm-hmm. I mean, a lead, two scores.
Yeah.
10, 14 points. That hasn't happened.
Yeah.
Even when it looked like it might happen against Ohio State, they held them just close enough to stay attached, and then they started to build in the second half.
Yeah.
Right? They don't play with the same type of pace that a lot of college football teams play for. I feel like a lot of college football teams press to try and dominate the game early.
Yeah.
You know, they say get out fast, get out fast, get out fast. Well, yeah, get out fast means execute, play hard, do follow your keys, do your assignments early, be extra sharp. It doesn't necessarily mean be up 21-0 in the first quarter. Mm-hmm. Michigan plays long ball.
Yeah.
They're perfectly fine taking 2 to 3 yard gains in the first quarter while you got to stack box because your guys are fresh, jumping around, they hype, adrenaline's still going. We haven't really hit all that much. Yeah, we're good. We're fine. Second quarter, let's keep leaning. Keep leaning. Let's see how tough you are. Let's see if you're going to keep sticking your nose in here every time. I'm going to send my 300-pound center and my 300-pound guard right to your ear hole. I want to see how hard you're going to stand there. And then if you hold it, I'm coming right back around 2 plays later. Oh, by the way, when we come out in the third quarter, we're going to do that shit again. And in the third quarter, okay, I don't want to do that no more. That shit hurts. It hurts to play football that way.
Yeah.
You know, if you've ever played football, that is a bruising style of the game.
It'll
It
take
is
the
not
wind
a
out of you for
finesse
sure.
thing. Yeah, you're not going to get out of there feeling good the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Come in this phone booth and fight.
And that's why you need a tough team to beat Michigan.
And that's just kind of what it is, man. So I like our chances moving forward. All due respect to TCU, they've earned their right to be here, and I'm glad that they're here. Not just because we're playing them, but because they deserve to be here.
I agree.
Oh shit, Deshaun Watson is playing the Texans right now. That's insane.
that was. I think that's the first game he's supposed to come back.
That is insane.
Yep.
All right. Anyways, fuck the NFL. I like where we're going, man. I like where we're going. No disrespect to TCU, but my eye is on Georgia. I obviously, we got to win a game first. We got to win a playoff game. That's for the players to focus on and worry about. Me as a fan, my eye is on Georgia. My eye is on Georgia. We need our lunch money back.
Sure.
And that's just is what it is. And there isn't a more fitting way for this season to end than avenging that loss in the national championship. So this has been a dream. Not really though, because I predicted it at the beginning of the season. Told you.
I'm not going to say anything.
I mean, I did everything that happened.
You said
everything
that. I guess.
Even who we were going to play in the championship game, Negro Damas over here.
There's a possibility you might not see them in the championship game.
Sure, anybody can lose.
Yep.
Anybody can lose.
Yep.
I mean, TCU has won close games all year. Yesterday was the first time we saw them lose one of those tight battles. So, I mean, anybody can lose. I don't think we're going to. I'm
going 0 dark 30, so I'm not going to say anything. Okay, so that was all the conference championships besides, the MAC championship.
Yes, yeah.
The American.
Well, no, shout out to Toledo. Yeah, shout out to Toledo for winning the MAC.
No, for sure. Especially since, I guess, that game still looks like it's not a big win for us or anything like that.
Sure.
I guess. But no, shout out to them. They beat Ohio.
My boy Boo didn't even recognize it. You love conference champions so much. Ohio State beat the MAC championship. You ain't say nothing about it, Boo.
Yeah.
Washington
and
versus
Toledo
Texas
was a fierce,
in the Alamo
fierce
Bowl.
Washington's winning that for sure.
We'll see.
I got
I mean, the one thing I know for sure in that game, no one's going to stop anybody. It's going to be a 50-55 game.
For sure.
Ewers and Michael Penix are going to have 1,000 combined passing yards in that game.
Oh my God. That's a fact. But I'd watch it.
Oh, yeah. No. I'll turn it on. December 29th. I ain't going to be doing nothing.
All right. And one last final thing that should be quick. Shout out to Aiden O'Connell and prayers out for his family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Considering what they had to go through, and then for him to, he did.
He played a hell of a game. He played a hell of a game.
Yeah. So shout out to that. Shout out to Charlie Jones for also performing. That's all I got.
That little dude, bro.
I
was getting so
his
annoyed.
His name is not Charlie Jones. His name is Chuck Sizzle. They just abandoned calling him Charlie Jones and went with Chuck Sizzle for the rest of the game, basically. I just thought that was hilarious.
Oh my goodness.
But no, that's all.
Give us your thoughts on championship weekend in the prompt below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and come back on the 31st or the 1st to talk about the results of the playoffs.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll probably do a preview.
Talk about it before then.
Probably have some guests or something.
Sure, if they still want to come on. Oh, now I know they want to come on. now I know they want to come on for sure. If you'd have asked them before Thursday, I don't think they would have wanted to come on. But
man, I wouldn't have wanted them to come on. I was, hey man, we lost, and we lost to
that's crazy.
We lost to a good team, but we lost, and so you feel bad after a loss.
No, it just the stipulations that was given. Okay, the Sugar Bowl, Alabama, Kansas State.
He didn't give those stipulations, to be fair.
Okay.
But yes, Alabama, Kansas State. That's all right, Alabama. Show us what you got.
Let's see it. Like, share, subscribe.
Absolutely. Oh, and
Yes, send us out.
And make sure you check out some of our previous weeks in coverage. We talked about college football for the entire season, and so make sure you subscribe also because I'm sure, like we said, we'll give a preview, recap for the playoffs.